Hey guys, and welcome to Pheas Software. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing on this CYMA CM.135S EMG CYBLU AEP. Hey guys, and welcome back. If you do enjoy this content today, please do consider liking, commenting and subscribing, because those interactions help me get seen by the YouTube algorithms. That helps the channel to grow. You want to see more of my socials, the link tree down below will take you to all my socials, including my Discord, and the join button down there will take you to channel memberships. 99 pence a month, totally optional, really appreciated. Custom videos, giveaways, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Boring. Let's move on. So I've got a new AEP, and anybody that knows me knows I have a little bit of a soft spot for AEPs. Now, don't get me wrong, I totally understand GB pistols. They're awesome and they feel great, but they weigh a ton and the British climate is not amazing. This gives me consistent all year round performance, this little baby. So this is the new piece I've picked up. And full disclosure, I have used this on 2 separate game days. I've had several sort of kills in game with it, really happy with it. So when I'm talking through it, it's from a point of experience as well as just doing the normal unboxing as well. So I've tried to recreate the whole experience as close as I possibly can. So the box itself then, just quite plain. Obviously we've got a few branding items on there knocking about, but very little to give away what's actually inside. So we'll get this opened up. Inside we have an EMG card with a QR code to scan for registrations, and obviously the fact that it's licensed and things like that. So I'll get that out of the way. We've then got a very good English USB charging documents about how to charge the LiPo in here. We'll discuss that shortly. And then we've got a lovely piece of foam. Look how nice that is. Oh, it's textured and everything. Joking. Get that out of the way. There she is. Yes, it does look, there is a few marks on it. It's a little bit mucky. I had a great day. Last time around this, I was at Dirty Dog Airsoft, which if you've played that, great site. Enjoyed it immensely. I found myself in a position where I ended up drawing this quite a few times because I used all my AK mags up, and this came in as an absolute lifesaver. In fact, actually got me some of my best moments of the day. So in the box then, we have got a pistol style speed loader. So we've just got pour in the BBs there, close the hatch, and then we can put our mag on the bottom and we can speed load. I'll demonstrate that shortly. Put that back in. We've got our little LiPo battery. I believe it's a 500 milliamp battery. There's not actually any markings on it at all. Then we've got our USB charger, which we can plug this into our normal sort of USB socket on our wall outlet, on a normal wall socket, that kind of thing. This plugs into the, I want to call it JST connector. I'm pretty sure it's JST or JXT, whichever one it is. Plug that in that, we'll plug it in and that will charge it, and there will be a light indicator to indicate whether it's charged or not. I'm fortunate enough, I'm not sure if I want to trust that or not. I am fortunate enough that I have got a charger that will only use that little connector there. So there is our little battery. I have just noticed from a couple of users, that is, oh no, it's, I was going to say it's the wire coating coming away, but it's not. It's just extra, it's like plastic or glue or something that's been put under there to keep it sealed. I thought I was going to be telling you it's damaged. It's not. Get that out of the way. A little big bag of BBs, probably never see the light. Oh, apparently I have opened them. Oh, how nice. How lovely. And then here is the Pheas de resistance. Inside there we've got a little unjamming rod, and we've got a little tiny, that is the tiniest little hex head Allen key thing. There is nothing else in that box but foam. Now, from the box, the mag is already in the mag well, so I'll drop that out. There is the approximately 30 round mag. Now, straight away, this is a little bit more weightier than a typical AEP, and that is because we've got a plastic lower frame initially, which obviously lowers the weight, but the upper is metal. So I've got a metal slide there, so we can see the salient arms branding on there, which looks quite spiffing. We've got rather lovely sort of fiber optic front sight to collect the light in, and it is particularly nice to get down that sight and be able to see that red dot. down at the front. Now, obviously, it is based on an 18C, Glock 18C. We've got a selector at the back then that's currently on single shot. Click it down to full auto, and our safety is this little clip here. So down is safe, up is safe off, and it's a 2-stage trigger. So we've got a little proceeding lever on the front there, and then the main trigger. And if I do not pull them both, the trigger won't move because of that 2-stage trigger. Okay, so obviously something to think about, and we'll come back to talk about the aesthetics in a second. In fact, do you know what? Let's do it now. This right here is something that all AEP should have almost out of the box. And I get, in some cases, even the real one doesn't have that. I totally understand what you're saying, but it's airsoft, okay? And we all want to put something on the front, don't we? Okay, we all want to extend a little bit. So this is a 14mm negative cap on there, which removes to reveal a negative 14mm thread for all of your airsoft accessories, and that will go back on again. When I can, there we go. Scroll that down. Coming then, the serrations are lovely. The slide does not move. Please do not get this out and start trying to rag the slide, because it doesn't move. And actually, if it does move, you've probably just ripped it off and broken part of it. But I'll show you how it comes off in a second to get into the battery space. So the serrations are absolutely lovely. They look gorgeous. We have got a mock ejection port that does nothing. It literally is just cast part of the slide. Because again, a lot of the inner workings are in here. We come down to the back, we've got our selector, quite standard, nice click into place. I did notice a couple of times, just being in my holster with it moving around, it did get flicked between firing modes. So just something, you know, if you're about to fire, just possibly check your firing mode first. Lovely front and rear sights. The front sight is the fiber optic, like I said, and the rear sights are just traditional sort of like post type ones, but made it quite easy to sort of aim and get down. The lower frame then, we have got they've gone for, I believe it's more the standard 20mm rail type as opposed to the Glock type rail there, because it obviously got 3 rails instead of 1 slot. So obviously torches will fit on there, as is your preference, or if you want to put something really silly on, I'm sure you can find something much more silly to put on there. The safety we've just discussed. We've got this lovely stippling effect on here to help with grip, and I can confirm from playing it felt lovely to hold. You know, it wasn't going anywhere in my hands. Now, I do find that the gold highlights on here have made a number of my friends, it's been quite divisive. That some absolutely think it looks amazing, others have basically had to find a bucket to throw up in. Do you know what? I think it looks great. Again, it's airsoft, you know, it is what it is, isn't it, sort of thing. And then we come down to the bottom of the magwell. Now, what you can start to see here is this sort of metal part here. That is the gearbox. The gearbox in an AEP runs up the back of the pistol grip. And we run these tiny little spring mags. Now, those are very light. You know, there's no gas chamber in it. There's no sort of silly weight to it. You can literally carry loads, like 30, 40 of them without feeling it. And I have got and tested it with the CYMA 82 round ones, which are the big long ones, and then they extend out at the bottom. And then in a separate video, which has dropped at this, more or less at the same time as this, I've got, oh yes, I went there. That is a 300 round drum mag, a USB-C charging electric winding drum mag for APs, but that's in a separate video. Might reappear in this one. So the mag goes in really rather nicely. I do find that it clicks in nicely, and when you put your thumb on the release, it drops out rather nicely. So mid-firefight, I found that that was really easy dropping out, and I could chuck another one in, and off I went again. And really felt lovely to sort of change those mags. The plastic ones, the 80 rounders, the long mags, don't have the weight to do that. So you will have to, I'm saying it like it's a bad thing, you will have to hold your mag release in and pull the mag out like it's a mega negative. Ignore me, I'm being a bit of a prat. But just to be warned that they will not slide out in quite the same way. The drum mag will, because of the weight on the bottom, if I press that, it will, oh no, I'm making a lie up. It will start to come out, but you will have to hold it in whilst you remove it. Get that back out the way for now. So the top cover then, to get into the top cover to the battery space, we're just going to click this in at the bottom. This sort of back part here just clicks in, and then it lifts up and away and it pivots off the front there like that. So the inside of here, we've just got our selector mechanism, and we've got some screws just sort of holding like the rear sight in, and this spring system for this flap. At the front, we've got a single screw that holds the fibre optic in. So in theory, I possibly could get a aftermarket replacement with that. Now, it is slot based, so somebody who is really into their GBBR or GBBs will have to tell me if that is, or they believe that looks like it's compatible with a traditional pistol rear sight, because I wouldn't mind changing that myself. And then what we've got here is the sort of the top of the inner working. So we have got, as you can see there, a brass inner barrel running down here. Our hop unit is here with our hop adjuster right there, and it is rolled backwards towards you to apply hop. I'll comment on performance in a moment, and the battery itself just sits under there. Once you're done and you've tucked things in, and I'll do it after the sort of shooting review and everything, the top slide goes on, the slide goes on at the front there, and I generally find it goes on better if I've put it in auto to bring this arm down. So I put it down, click it in, and that's it. It's on nice and secure. I can change the selector as I need fit, and then again, press that button and up and away. So what we'll do is we'll cut to showing you the shooting test, the rate of fire test on the LiPo, and the chrono, and then we'll come back and sort of discuss my thoughts with it and my plans for the future. So I'll see you in a second. So you're looking at maximum 225, minimum 212, averaging to sort of just over 220. A little bit of a random that to 212. The drum mag. That's the mag not keeping up. About 13.5 rounds a second. See my pistol. See my pistol part 2. Okay, so you've seen that video in terms of range. No, we'll start with FPS. We'll start with the FPS first. So the FPS, it is a teeny tiny little gearbox, and even with the silly upgrades that the silly parts that Bugatti do in, I won't say Italy, I'm pretty sure it's Italy. The size of it, you're kind of topping out at 300 FPS really, if you're really lucky. You know, considering this is a sidearm, you're running this as something to fall back to. It's not going to be your primary. You know, that FPS is not mega essential. You know, you don't need to rip somebody's head off with a BB to sort of take them out of the game. So it's not amazing, but you know, it's something to be aware of, that's just naturally how they all roughly perform. I've sort of seen as low as 180 FPS out of like the TMs typically, to around 220, 230 out of a lot of the CYMA seem to run a little bit higher FPS. In terms of rate of fire then, 13.5 rounds a second on that teeny tiny little LiPo, that's pretty exciting, you know, and that little mag does not last very long. Obviously your drum mag, if you can bring yourself to commit that heresy, can obviously operate a lot sort of better, longer, sort of thing. But those are a lot of fun, and particularly if you want to sort of keep semi close to real, then you know, running those size of mags is probably better than the long 80 rounders or even the drum mag sort of thing. So I was really happy with the rate of fire. The FPS is what it is. Range wise, I am finding that on 0.2s it will hop 0.2 gram BBs much better. 0.25s, even with the hop fully applied, I am just finding that I'm just not quite getting the hop with the nice trajectory. I still feel like it's dropping off quite early. I'm getting out sort of 35-ish meters. It's not amazing. Again, keep in mind it's a fallback, and I know a lot of you will say, oh, my gas blowback shoots further than that, or my AAP shoots, and I totally understand, you know, the wealth of upgrade parts and things for those things are there for a reason, and that you can run them as primers and all that kind of stuff. You know, keep in mind that you've bought this as a reliable all year round backup, typically when people have got close and you need something that you can just spray, pray and run away. You know, so keep that in mind, that range is not amazing. I am going to look to change. I've got a I don't even know where it's come from. I have got a correct length type bore barrel and a new aftermarket hot rubber, which I'm going to attempt to fit in this to see if that affects FPS or range or both, and hopefully give me a little bit more options with hopping and things, that I might be able to hop a little, you know, the 2.5s effectively, basically, because that's pretty much what I run all the time. So keep that in mind. The last thing then I'll do batteries first, and then we'll do gloved operation. So in terms of the battery, we've got this mini Dean's connector battery, so a teeny tiny little connection. There is our MOSFET, so it's not programmable, it's not a super special awesome one, it's literally just a MOSFET that takes power from there, and instead of running it via the trigger block, it runs it straight to the motor. So we just get a slight uplift in rate of fire and trigger response and things like that. Now, what I will warn you is, with any MOSFET, if you leave this in here indefinitely, this will systematically drain your battery down and you will end up with a dead LiPo. So when you are finished, please, like anything with a MOSFET, disconnect it. Okay, just pull those connectors apart. Everybody's happy. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to plug those in together. It will take a little bit of faffing about just to manipulate them. I'm then going to put the wiring in like that. I'm going to keep the battery sort of as close to the back as I can. And now what I'm looking for is just keeping everything within the profile of this plastic tray here and not sticking out anywhere, because what I don't want to do is, when I put this on, is mash the cables against the frame and the slide so that it breaks them and exposes metal. So I'm going to put it back in full auto. Now I can see there that connector is a little bit in the way, but there we go, perfectly. And then I'm ready to fire. So in terms of firing, it's a little bit louder without ammunition in it. There's a bit of a pop, so there is quite a pop to it. I'll give you, and it's that pop's not quite as prominent when there is ammunition in it. But obviously, you're running an electric gearbox, there is going to be a noise different to a gas blowback to it. So, you know, just to be aware of how it sounds, sort of thing. Obviously, we can accessorize at the front to change that sound profile as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I think it's a fantastic little piece of kit. I am really, really chuffed to bits with it, really happy with it. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's been a great backup for me already. 2 game days since I got this, and I've run it both game days, and I have drawn it and used it in both, which is unlike me. And it's really benefited me, and you know, being able to get it and get some kills, there's something quite satisfying about a pistol kill, particularly when it's something like this and you're like, aha, and running away. I think it's a fantastic piece of kit. Go and check it out, you know, sort of in your sort of area for prices and things like that. I think they're a lot of fun. I think particularly if you've got a very unstable climate, you get much more year-round consistency of FPS and performance as well. I've just realised I've not done the gloves, so let me grab them. Thanks to the guys on my Discord for suggesting this sort of feature. Just doing some gloved operation. So I've got my gloves on. So in terms of mag in, I can get that mag in, I can get it out. I can definitely change the selector. The safety is probably a little bit more easier to get with the gloves, with the texture, than it is without. I can certainly fire that as well without any issues. In terms of emptying that, we'll do the mag in a second. In terms of changing the battery, I can certainly get that out. Changing the hop is very easy. I can do that, and I can see, you know, what I'm adjusting. Changing the battery, I can't see it being a mega issue, other than my gloves are threading a little bit. They are regularly getting used either to play with or there we go. Managed to do that. they're getting used either by me or I'm basically lending them to people. Seem to be bringing a lot of friends that have not played before of late. So that's in there. I have been able to do that as well, which is easy enough. And then if I've got a speed loader, I can certainly get those BBs in there. So just so happens I have a speed loader of 0.2 gram BBs, and all I'm going to do is line them up with the top. And they are filled really quite nicely. That can go back in. I have set up off camera my shooting box, and I have got eye protection on. You can see there the change in sort of sound was good. There's not quite the same pop when there's no ammunition going through it. So I'm pretty happy with how that operates with gloves on. I hope you are as well. So, conclusion, no, it doesn't perform like some GB gas blowback pistols, especially if you put all sorts of crazy aftermarket parts in it, nor are they designed to. They're a great little backup. They are a lot of fun, and they are consistent all year round. I absolutely love it. Let me know what you think, because I know these can be quite sort of split opinions, really. But I'd like to know what you think of it. So, hope you enjoyed that. I'll leave a couple of pictures at the end. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.